Hi, I am Manish. I lead our capital markets practice at Straive, where we work with some of the largest asset managers, wealth managers, and PE firms to help design and operationalize their data and AI strategy. There have been a lot of recent changes, especially post COVID, but I'll just go through the top three. The first one is there has been a lot of focus on alternative investment and private markets. And the reason for that is there is a significant growth potential and promise of profitability through this. The second trend that we see is essentially the sustainability and ESG focus from a lot of our clients, again, because of the regulatory changes as well as some of the need from the individual investor to kind of invest for the longer term. But I would say the biggest trend that we have observed is focus on leveraging the newer technology, specifically generative AI, to drive some of these cost efficiencies which have been long focus for this industry. More than ever, there has been a pretty pressing need for the asset managers to focus on improving net new revenue growth, reducing their operational cost, as well as realizing some of the investment alpha, while making sure that the client experience is improving and they are engaging with their clients more meaningfully at scale. However, they have been trying to constantly evaluate newer technologies like advanced analytics, generative AI, to see if they can use this technology to kind of meet these objectives. However, the reality and the vision of the asset managers have a huge gap in them. Why I say that is because if we see from the survey results that we have seen from our results, almost about 90% or more asset managers tell us that they either have a plan or they have at least experimented with, let's say, generative AI in last 1 year to pursue one of these four goals. However, less than 20 to 30% of the experiments that have been tried by these asset managers have resulted into success, which tells that there's a significant gap between what the reality is and what the vision they have. So generative AI has definitely a lot of potential, and like most of the other industries, specifically for capital markets and specifically within the investment management, it has shown significant promise to deliver net new revenue growth, reduce the operational costs, improve the investment alpha, and what we say is like the numbers are 20, 40, 60, 20% of net new revenue growth, which is basically going to come from the newer service lines, 40% of increased operational cost savings, and 60% is essentially up to 60% of productivity gain just because of generative AI. Let me give you an example. Net new service line, which are gonna be leading to newer revenue growth for some of the capital markets players. Historically, there had never been possible to do, let's say, a personalized marketing campaign at a scale before GenAI. However, now we can do that. Second example of that is a lot of financial intermediaries are now monetizing their proprietary data by building the layer of the knowledge layer on top of that, which basically gives an additional revenue stream to them. So because of that, I think the promise of generative AI is definitely there. It's just about like how quickly the organizations are able to capture it, and definitely the first mover will have a huge advantage in this space. So I think RFP DQ Automation is definitely the one which comes to my mind. Historically, if you see, RFP DQ is something which is fraught with a lot of manual intensive labor, and it has had a lot of challenges in terms of how to manage all that work to meet the challenging timelines. For example, the RFP writers, analysts, sales teams all have to generally scramble to meet these deadlines. And a lot of times what asset management firms have tried is as a only alternative option to outsource these operations, but a lot of asset managers have not been comfortable in outsourcing such a strategic operations just for getting a cost advantage. But with generative AI, what we are seeing is, in fact, this is something which we built for one of our clients, that the entire end-to-end workflow could be automated by pre-populating the RFP templates, by building a master data layer, which is basically learning from the historical RFP archives and using that to pre-populate these responses, and then just providing that to the experts who are essentially just there to review. End to end, this has resulted into about 70% reduction in timelines, which is huge. There is a lot of hype, and because of that, everyone wants to try their hands on, and it's really easy to do experimentation, do proof of concepts, prototypes. But taking the prototype to something which is enterprise grade level solution is very difficult, or has been proven very difficult for a lot of these organizations. The second one is the data quality. Again, data has been the core kind of strategic advantage for most of these data-driven organizations. And if they are not able to improve and harness the power of the data, the generative AI as a technology is not going to just be useful out in the vacuum. The third one essentially is making sure that they are following the right governance framework around it, and essentially the entire responsible AI, to make sure they are not incurring any unnecessary risks. I would say they need to start with the right use cases, and that starts with a very, very dedicated focus in terms of, okay, what's the business impact that we are going to drive, and whether or not this particular use case which they have prioritized is scalable. Once they have the prioritized use cases, in terms of that, they need to evaluate it from two dimensions. The first one is going to be your value, business value, and the second one is the cost of error. Let me give you an example of why these two dimensions need to be evaluated. Personalizing the marketing and building a sales assist in real time has a significant impact on improving the business value, making a business impact. However, given these are not client facing, but these are essentially more of a productivity enhancer for the sales and marketing team, there is not much of a risk, because there is always a human expert in the loop to review what the output of the generative AI is. On the other side, if you are talking about a use case like, let's say, legacy code migration or an automated end-to-end regulatory compliance monitoring, this is something where there might be an upside in terms of business value captured, but the cost of error is significantly high. And we do not see anytime soon where the code migration could just be automated in production level. So that's how basically they need to evaluate on both these dimensions to see which one makes sense versus not. So let's think about financial professionals as like separate personas, right? So financial analyst could be one, developer could be another one, a client-facing role, or a back office analyst, right? For all four of these, the common theme is going to be they're all going to feel more productive, enabled with the use of generative AI at their disposal. For example, a developer now will feel much more powerful with the help of a code assist. A back office analyst will not have to sift through large amount of documents to review them manually, whereas a LLM which is tuned and developed specifically for, let's say, pricing review or a legal contract review, will be able to help them. A financial analyst doesn't have to now manually understand what the risks are, what the what the patterns in the markets are. He can get all that insights from the models, but he will basically be making those decisions. So that's what the role is going to evolve, but it's only going to help them. There are two parts to this question. In terms of how we stay up to date, is basically we do a lot of focused investment in this area. We have a huge workbench and a large LLM foundry, which is essentially something where we keep on experimenting with the latest and greatest LLMs to see which one are the best based on the different use cases from our clients. Sales and marketing use case might require a different, say, a private instance versus let's say a back office use case. In terms of how Straive is making sure that we are helping our clients, we are essentially following a 4-step approach. The first one is we start with the building a multi-year business roadmap for our clients, so that they see what's the value of focusing on such a technology and is it in line with their strategic goals and objectives. So building that end-to-end data analytics and AI roadmap is very crucial. The second one is building the enterprise data as a core differentiator, which can then enable a strategic advantage for them, which includes data engineering, data governance, and responsible AI into it. The third one is operationalizing AI and moving beyond the prototypes and proof of concepts. That's where essentially, as I said, a lot of failed projects happen, but with the skill set and that muscle that we have, we are able to take our clients in basically building these enterprise grade solutions. The last one is where the rubber meets the road. Even though the solutions might have been built, but you cannot expose or just let the AI run your operation on their own. You need to have a human in the loop, and that operationalization part is where we help our clients by providing them with these subject matter expertise and human in the loop, so that even though the workflow is end-to-end automated, there is someone who is reviewing that output. And that's a very critical part of governance, making sure there are no spillovers.